1965, To Sir With Love. I've had this movie for a number of years, but never got around to watching it, so I've downloaded it. Stars Sidney Poitier in the lead role. He's the new school teacher at a urban secondary modern school. His class are probably about 15 years of age. They're all sort of rejects. They've been moved out of schools for various reasons. They're a pretty disobedient lot, full of lots of party tricks, and Mark is trying his damnedest to get a grip on the art of teaching kids who ain't interested in learning. He's got a lot of moral support from the staff on his initiation, apart from one, Jeffrey Belden, who's a complete cynic and believes that the only way these kids should get through their schooling is if you deliver a good hiding to them. Mark, of course, is a qualified engineer, but has chosen teaching because there ain't no jobs for black African Americans in London. It's the early 60s, and unemployment is quite considerable, so he's taken on this job so that at least he's employed, but he's had no training whatsoever, so he's being thrust into the deep end. There's an array of actors and actresses that I recognise in this class, in particular the girls. We have an appearance by Lulu, who also sings the signature tune. Judy Geeson I saw, who's quite got a flair for poetry. She of course was in sort of soft porn movies in the 60s. Certificates, I remember going to one. Here we go round the Mulberry Bush. And also Susie Kendall, who's a young teacher who has shown befriended Mark on his first day, and some of the teenage boys are some real hard nuts out to cause as much trouble as possible. The setting, as I say, is probably in the East End of London, and we'll see how he masters this, if at all he does. Thackeray, after banging his head against a brick wall for a number of days, decides on a radical change in his strategy to gain the attention of these rebellious youth, and so it becomes a sort of a discussion at each occasion, each lesson about life. Social issues are brought to the table, and it's a sort of exchange of Q&A, and the kids are interested. They spend more time listening and being attentive rather than just being disruptive, and he gets permission from the headmaster to take them on a trip to a museum to look at culture and how people change through time. This was provoked by a talk about fashion and about the change of times. It's 1963-ish, and the Beatles have just arrived and turned the whole youth interest upside down after the more sort of post-war Presley conformity, so to speak. Poitier is absolutely brilliant in it. His efforts Thackeray's efforts were rewarded as the rebellious class took to him like a duck to water. The rest of the movie is a little bit corny. The thanks, there's a bereavement, there's an incident while he's teaching gym, but overall it's a reasonably well put together film, and it highlights the amazing talents of one Sidney Poitier.